This is Kiya-fied, your space, my touch. I'll be going from home to home to show you guys different ways to upgrade your space using all budget-friendly and renter-friendly hacks. You'll see everything from start to finish, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss an episode. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to apply peel and stick wallpaper onto your kitchen countertops. This product can be found on Amazon. The direct link will be in the description under Kiya's Home Finds. So first up, you want to get your measurements. So just take your tape measure and measure the counter space that you'll be working with. As you can see, I'm getting the base, but make sure not to forget to get the sides as well, because you want everything to be seamless and you want that contact paper to go over on the edges as well. Next, you want to cut out your desired size. So, because I don't have a wide enough contact paper, we are going to have to do some overlapping here. So I'm just, measuring accordingly. Now, when it comes to overlapping the contact paper, I personally prefer to overlap it vertically. However, for this particular area, I'm going to overlap it horizontally because it's so small. However, for the other counter space, I'm going to overlap it vertically, which you'll see more details as to what I'm referring to later on in the video. Just know only for this space will you see me laying the paper horizontally. So I find it easier if you prep your contact paper by only peeling a little bit back at a time. That way you'll have better control. Now that it's all prepped, you want to apply the contact paper. So here you want to really take your time and make sure that everything is lined up as evenly as possible. And don't be afraid to relift it if you have to. It has enough adhesive on there that you can lift it and relay it and it'll be just fine. So just really take your time. And here you can see that I'm pulling the paper back slowly, and that allows me to control how much of the adhesive is out at a time. Please take your time and don't rush. This is a very tedious task, and you want to make sure that this looks as clean and professional as possible, and really take your time to get all the air bubbles out. So a key tip would be to use a heat gun. If you don't have that, then use a blow dryer. Or as you can see, I didn't use either of those, and I'm just taking my time and I'm using my hand. Another thing, you can use a smoothing tool, which you can get off of Amazon as well. But again, if you don't have that, that's fine. As you can see, I'm using only my bare hands and it's working out perfectly. Now this may be the most important part. Sharpen the edges. You want the edges to be really crisp and sharp. That's going to give it a realistic effect and make it look like an actual marble countertop as opposed to using peel and stick paper. If it's more rounded off or has air bubbles or anything like that, it's going to look fake. It's going to look like paper, and that's not what we want. We're not going through all of this for nothing. We want this to look like real marble countertop. So take your time and get those edges as sharp as possible. Once those edges are as sharp as you can get them, it's time to cut off the excess. I'm using a utility knife. I find that it's very precise and gets straight to the point, and it helps me keep it really straight. So yeah, cut off the excess. Congratulations, you've officially applied your first piece of contact paper. Now you just have to repeat the steps all over again. So this is going to overlap so that you don't see this line here. So instead of measuring from here to here, you want to measure it a little bit over so that it overlaps. And it's a little bit more seamless. It's not perfect. The perfect thing would be to get the width of the actual countertop space that you're getting. That way you don't have to have lines from different strips, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So we're gonna overlap it to make it as seamless as possible. So like I said earlier in the video, this space is so small that laying the paper horizontally works best. So here I am just overlapping the pieces, and just like we did with steps 1 through 6, we're taking our time, we're smoothing everything out, making sure there are no air bubbles. Do not be afraid to relift it and relay it, just take your time. Now you might get a hand cramp here and there, but it's worth it. And if you don't want to use your hands and you don't have the smoothing kit, then you can also use something like flat and hard, like maybe a credit card or a DVD case. Oh my God, do anybody even have DVDs or CDs anymore? Did I just show my age? Oh my goodness. Okay. But yeah, just take your time and smooth everything out. I forgot to mention that you should use a lot of pressure when doing this. I don't know if you can tell by looking at the video, but I'm applying a lot of pressure as I slide my hand across the surface because that helps get rid of any air bubbles. It makes the adhesive stick better, and it just makes everything nice and seamless. So don't be afraid to keep repeating, going over that pressure. Now here, I didn't realize that my camera didn't have everything in focus, so I'm pretty much just cutting off any excess paper that I don't need to make it easier to get any creases and to round everything off. So it's pretty much the same that I did with the top part. You're just cutting off excess, applying pressure, getting the creases nice and sharp. And if you see any air bubbles, don't be afraid to relift it and get that out of there. It looks good to me, so now we're just going to cut off that excess with a utility knife again. Now this step is very important. I completely forgot about it. I've actually should have done that before we applied the first piece. So I like to take a random scrap of contact paper and apply it between the border and the base. This, for me, allows it to be very seamless when I apply the border piece, which you'll see me doing now. But with that piece right there, it just makes everything seamless and looks like one piece of countertop, as opposed to looking like pieces of paper that we cut and stuck to the counter, you know? So here I'm just really taking my time to smoothen everything out. It's a lot of the same steps that we have already been doing, just smoothing out the air bubbles, making sure the creases are good, and taking our time. So I'll be quiet and just let the video play, and if we get to a new step, then I'll come back to explain. So I want to explain what's going on here because it's pretty similar to what I did in the front that you guys couldn't see. So I'm making a cut here so that this front flap that I'm holding right now can fold over so that it can look like one seamless piece. So I'm folding that part down, and then the front flap can fold over. That way it just looks like one piece of paper as opposed to like just folding it, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to really explain, and I really couldn't get my camera any closer. But I fold the top piece down and the front flap over so that it looks like one piece. All right, and now we're moving along. So here I'm just cutting border pieces. So remember how I said I should have done that very important step first? I'm doing that now just to get that over with. So I'm making as many as I can, and I'm making that perimeter border piece. I don't know what I want to call this, but I'm gonna call this the transition piece. Yes, that's a good name. So you want to apply the transition piece between the border and the base. The reason that transition piece is so important is because you see how I laid this contact paper down? Sometimes it's hard to get it perfectly aligned. And if I didn't have that transition piece there, the base piece and the border piece sometimes can have a gap there. And with that transition piece there, it allows for it to look seamless and it doesn't show a gap. I feel like I just said piece a lot, so let me quickly label everything so that moving forward you'll know what I'm referring to. So this is the base, this is the transition, and this is the border. So you know what I'm referring to moving forward. Here you want to cut exactly where that corner is. so that the paper will fit easily there. So I just pretty much cut exactly where the line naturally is on the counter. Believe it or not, but the sink is actually the easiest place to add the contact paper because it has a border with the sink that's kind of raised, which allows you to use a utility knife to really sharpen and cut the excess off. You'll see what I'm referring to in a second. But you can already see that line is creasing exactly where it needs to, between the counter and the sink. So I can just cut right there and it's gonna be really seamless. Now, I must say, I am not a professional by any means necessary. I just really have fun with DIY projects, and because of the popularity of my own personal home makeover and how well it turned out, everyone wants me to do their space as well. So, these are just tips and tricks that works for me. Again, I'm not a professional, so if there are professionals out here that may come across this video, don't come for me, okay? Because this is just what works for me and this is what I did. Thank you. All right, now it's time to apply the border piece because the transition and base piece is on. And again, it looks very seamless. Now I'm only 5 feet tall, and you guys should see the way I had to stand and bend and just do all these weird type of positions just to get this done. But when people want to be Kiya-fied, I do what I got to do to get it done, okay? Okay. And with that being said, if you can't tell, I am laying across the counter and the sink trying to get this done because her counter is so deep back that, again, I'm only 5 feet tall. I can't reach it. So throughout the rest of the video, we're going to pretty much be doing the same things that we've done already throughout the video. So here is where I'm going to zip my lips and let the rest of the video play, and then I'll come back to talk in the end. And that's pretty much it. Do you see these beautiful marble countertops? You cannot tell me that we use contact paper. Like, this looks so beautiful, so professional, clean, seamless, and I'm ready for the next part of this project, which is the backsplash. Are y'all ready for this? If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for rocking with me, and if you want to keep up with everything, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.